Your brain is powerful and it's also vulnerable. To give you an example, this optical illusion. Can you tell which direction the train is going? You can literally change the direction of this train with your mind. This is a really cool example of how your brain and your perception influences the way you see things in the world around you, and that by changing your own perception, you can change the direction of your own life. It's a metaphor. I have a lot of information in my brain, but I do not have access to all of it at all times. I do not have that kind of brain. It's neurospicy. I often assumed as a kid, because I couldn't read social cues, that people hated me. Like, the worst thoughts would go through my mind because I couldn't tell what other people were thinking. And as an adult, I found out I'm a little neurospicy. And now I am a bit of an empath, an over-empath, where I basically get emotional overloads from strangers walking down the street. But do I regret it? No, because it still has given me a superpower. And I do have an uncanny ability to influence people and the outcomes of decisions, which has really helped me out a lot in my career. I've never been able to be hypnotized. I've always wanted to be hypnotized. I want to know what that feels like. It just seems so interesting to me. But I think it's because a combination of my neurospiciness and this self-taught hypervigilance to try to connect with people and read social cues on my own made it really difficult for me to let go and allow somebody to take over my mind. I'm wondering if having a certain flavor of neurodiversity impacts your ability to be hypnotized or not, because that's just a really interesting conversation. If you find it really easy to change the direction of the train, because I could just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and make it look like a ping pong ball. And I'm wondering if that's just something that everybody can do, whether it's something that people who are more hypervigilant, hyper-aware, or neurodiverse are better at. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever been hypnotized. What does it feel like? Or if you're a hypnotist and you want to try and hypnotize me, come on the show. Let's speak about it. Is it magic? I think so. I think the brain is magic. And your ability, our ability as individuals, as spiritual beings, having a human experience, being able to change our perceptions is like the key to life. Being able to succeed and achieve your desired outcomes. It's all possible with the right mindset and the right perception. So I hope my little example today tickles you and delights you as much as it does me. Let's just jump right in. Psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini identified 6 principles of persuasion in his book, Influence, which has sold over 3 million copies worldwide. And these principles are game changers in how you interact with others. So let's discuss reciprocity. It's really about people feeling obligated to return favors. At work, I can go and do something for somebody without them having to ask me to do it. The implication is you now owe me a favor, and they feel like they have to reciprocate. People feeling obliged to return favors is a really good way to get people to agree or to influence them. So the second principle is commitment and consistency. One of the things that we spoke about on a previous episode is about the size of your goals and objectives, right? So how about I give you a call next week? We'll check in and see whether or not you want to go ahead and close the deal, or if we can get that contract signed. Just by getting them to commit to you, to taking the call, they're more likely to actually seal the deal. That little commitment, you're 75% more likely to get them to a yes. Commitment and consistency are key principles of influencing people. I do it all the time. A lot of people look to others to decide how they should behave. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not your average corporate ninja. I'm smart, I'm pragmatic. I can get to yes. However, I am not the usual. Social proof is one of the reasons 88% of the people looking to buy a product will buy it if it has good reviews online. This is why the whole consumer feedback in social media is so relevant, because I always look for the bad reviews. I use negative social proof And if there's even one bad review, I know that there's probably a lot more people who didn't like the product or service or whatever it was. If there's a reason I shouldn't buy something, looking for those negative comments. Authority, a lot of people tend to follow the lead of a credible expert. I'm a credible expert. You're following my lead. I have a lot of credentials. I'm not even showing them to you, but I have them. They're all around me. Maybe I should. Let me know in the comments below. Should I be like one of those people who puts all my certifications and everything around me in a halo of authority? Or could we just have this conversation and speak about it? Personally, when I see somebody putting their certifications in their signature line, typically it makes me want to challenge people a little bit more when they show overt signs of authority. Remember, true leaders listen. We're more easily persuaded by people we like. So if you can get people to like you, then it's a lot easier to build genuine relationships. One of the ways you can use a liking principle is by genuinely and authentically saying something complimentary to somebody. Like right now, you're probably thinking, gee, Nico, I love your turtleneck. Does that make me like you more? A little bit. And if I say something reciprocal, that I like something about you, you're just glowing today, gorgeous. That's liking. But there are a lot of different ways where you can be complimentary to somebody that will influence their ability or lack of ability to agree with you and to follow through. The scarcity principle, when they're like, time is running out, only 3 left, I'm not gonna wait forever. Ultimatums. All of these things, not good for me. I'll say, all right, then forget it. But a lot of others are very easily influenced by this. So I could say, I see that you have 5 days there to get this done. How about we strive to get it done in 1 day? Because if you can't do it in that time frame, then I'm simply not gonna go through with it. I use scarcity. I see it and use it to my advantage. Everybody's standing outside with their coats on. Are you coming or not? Manipulation. Everybody else signed up to go on that trip. The entire office feels like it's a good idea. But let's put these principles into action. Let's flip the script and speak about how you can detect if somebody's trying to use these principles or these tactics against you for mind control and manipulation. If people are trying to influence you against your better judgment, or people are trying to manipulate you, whether it's in business, personally, or socially. First of all, being mindful and present is the key. If you are constantly thinking about what you're gonna say next and not even paying attention to what the person's saying, you are not being mindful. It's very important to tune in to what other people are saying, look at their body language, listen to the tone in which somebody is speaking to you. Now, if somebody starts mimicking my tonal cadence, because like I don't speak like an influencer. I'm not an influencer. I can't speak in that little squeaky voice. I don't know how to do that. It's very unnatural to me. So this is how I normally speak. And if somebody starts trying to speak to me in the same tone, in the same pacing, the same accent, especially if they're English, there's nothing worse than somebody who normally has an English accent trying to mimic what I have, which is a New York accent. Yes, I'm a New Yorker, born, bred, and buttered like a bagel, only lightly toasted. So if somebody's mimicking you or copying you or trying to get into your head that way, be hyper vigilant in that regard and look at them with scrutiny. Say, hey, what does this person want from me? Where do they want me to go? What is the manipulation in effect here? So be hyper aware of these things. Be alert. Don't tune out, don't zone out, whether you're flipping left or right or up and down, you know what I mean? Be hyper alert. When people speak to you, do they have a light in their eyes? If they do, be aware of the fact that they probably want something from you. I can tell the second that somebody sparks up and they think, oh, she has something I want. Then I'm even more alert. And I advise you to be aware of that. So look for over-the-top compliments. If somebody's excessively flattering to you, what do you want from me? I know I look good, thank you. Always accept a compliment, It's good energy, and it's a great way to deflect if you just accept. Instead of getting flustered, accept the compliment, let them flatter you. It'll make them stop because they realize they're not manipulating you. That's one of the things. I find it hysterical when people think that flattery is going to get them anywhere with me. We talked about pressuring you with time constraints. Be aware. If somebody's trying to pressure you because time is running out, like if somebody's trying to get you to accept a job and not giving you the time you need to think about it, there's a reason for that. Don't fall for it, walk away, or be very scrutinous. Don't just accept a job because they're like, you have to accept right now, or we're gonna give the job to somebody else. Walk away. It works, trust me. It puts you in a position of authority when you are so aware of these tactics. And always question authority. We touched on this a little bit. There are people in situations that will come at you, and you're supposed to just suck it up because they're the authority and you're not. Now, I've had a lot of experience with Western medicine and doctors. These are highly educated, and I have mad respect for the amount of education and hours and commitment that it takes to become a doctor. So don't come for me. However, there are doctors who practice medicine who went to school 30 years ago and haven't learned anything new since then. And when I was younger, I did have an unbridled acceptance of authority figures, doctors, so on and such. I come to realize they're all people. It's not enough to be an authority figure. Do it because I told you, whether it's a military action or whether you're sitting in corporate America and your boss says, just do it, even if you know it's the wrong thing because they're an authority figure. I've had to say no to my boss a few times. I've gotten reprimanded like a freaking child. I'm able to live with it because I'm living within my authentic value system. And people can't expect me to just do what they want me to do because they said so. And you need to be just as much of an advocate for yourself or for your own child. You need to advocate like that. And don't believe things, because remember that train, you can change the train's direction of anything with the perception in your head. A recent study said that 60% of people have admitted to making decisions they regret because they were listening to somebody of authority or they were feeling pressured into a situation. Whether you're going to vote and there are people standing outside telling you how to vote, or whether it's just doing something at work, or if you're in a relationship and the other person says, oh baby, I'm gonna change. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Don't be manipulated. Get present. Change the direction, go where you want to go. So there you have it. These principles have really transformed my life. I want to get hypnotized. So if anybody out there feels like they have the power or knows somebody who can do it, let me know. If you've ever been hypnotized or had experiences with mind control, let me know what it feels like. And maybe now that you're more aware of some of these tactics, we've had this conversation, and just exercising your perception by changing the train back and forth, maybe it's given you an edge, and you can laugh when suddenly you see advertising on the internet targeting you in your language, or when your boss says, just do it because I said so. My parents used to say that. I'd say, why do I have to clean my room? Because I said so. I never really did. And what were they gonna do? Kill me? Fire me? Parents can't do that. I'm joking. In the next episode, we're gonna talk about coffee and the cult of coffee substitutes, because I'm so obsessed with companies that are advertising not just a coffee substitute, but these things are supposed to cure my ailments, make me young, and change my brain, and make friends and make people like me. So if coffee or coffee alternatives can do that, I'm gonna be there checking it out. I'm Nico, and this is Nico Speaking. This is The Magic Happens. We have conversations every other Friday, and we speak about stuff that changes lives, at least we aspire to. And if there's any topics you'd like me to cover or bring up, put them in the comments below. subscribe to this channel. You can also find me on the Tick of the Talk Tick and Instagram and the Book of the Face. Nico speaking. Over and out.